Hey there, everybody. This is Keith, and we're going to do a little Facebook Live video lesson on transitions. So, what are transitions? Transitions are basically when we're moving from one thing we're doing on the drum kit to another. So, a lot of times on the drums we are playing a groove. And the groove is something that is pretty simple for most of us. So here's what our groove would be like. I'm going to just play a simple bread and butter rock groove. So be playing eighth notes on the hi-hat, and then I'm going to be playing 1 and 3 in the bass and 2 and 4 on the snare. So your basic backbeat. It's just going to sound like something like this. Okay? Pretty simple. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so when we are making transitions, that's usually when we're moving from, let's say, one section of the song to the next. So that could be counting in to the intro, and then moving from the intro to, let's say, the chorus. Or the verse. We'd probably play a verse before we play the chorus. Or, depending on the song, we could go right into the chorus. But that just depends on what the song is. But most of the time, there's usually a little intro that we play. And so this exercise that I'm going to show you is kind of based on playing an intro. Then after we take a look at that, then I'm going to show you how to take the things that we learn about making transitions and maybe move around the kit a little bit. Okay, so anyway, the first thing that we do when we are going to play a groove with a band in a song is we count ourselves in. This is when you take your sticks and you simply just count off the tempo. So what you do is you just start playing the tempo, and then whenever you're ready, that's basically when you can tell everybody's paying attention to you doing this, you just start counting. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then you start playing the groove. And usually when we start playing the groove, we play a crash to kick things off. So we play the first note of the groove, which is going to be, or the first beat of the groove, and that's going to be played with our bass. And then we're going to also accent that bass note with a crash. So once again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's where we start, is on that crash. That's saying 1. Loud and clear to everyone. Here's 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay? So, now here's where the transition comes into play. We have to go from this setup, and that's what that's called. This is our setup, basically playing 4, 4, 1, and now we have to come into beat 2 of the first part of the groove. So how do we do that? Well, we have to make a transition, and we don't want to just jump right into the groove. And it's kind of hard to demonstrate what that's like, so I'll show you instead how to make a smooth transition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this step by step and not really play in time. So if it sounds a little strange, that's because we're not really playing in time. So the first beat obviously is 1, 1, and then the next beat is going to be 2, 2, and 3. Okay? So there's where my transition took place. Moving from here to here. Okay? But I didn't move there right away. I didn't go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's a little too abrupt. And that might throw your timing off, causing you to drag and slow the band down. So you're counting here, and then all of a sudden you're coming in like this. So you want to avoid that, and that's why trying to make a smooth transition is important. So first we would want to practice that transition, just break that down into a little chunk. So you practice this without any time, basically in what's called flex time. So we can practice at our leisure in flex time. We can go 1, can wait a while. When we feel good and comfortable to come into 2, we can go 2, and then we go and 3, 4. Okay? So I just took my time with that, and you can repeat that, loop it until you feel comfortable. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay? 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay? So you can see there how I'm making a really smooth transition from here. I'm not just jumping into it like this. Let me see if I can demonstrate what not to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it's probably staying in time because I'm counting. Counting helps. And you definitely want to count while you're practicing. But it still feels a little awkward to do what I did, and it's not consistent. So it's better to practice this idea of what you should be doing instead. Okay, so moving on, if I'm going to play a little intro, I have to figure out how long that intro is. I already know what the groove is, and I know what the subdivision of the song is. The subdivision is 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? And so that's what I'm playing here. I'm keeping time with that subdivision. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? And then my groove is a simple bread and butter backbeat. Just boom, bap, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now I have to play this for 4 measures. Okay, that's how long this little intro is going to be. It's pretty typical. Sometimes it'll be 8 measures, but we're just going to make this one 4 measures. And then what I'm going to do is there's going to be another transition, and that's going to be between phrases, because instead of just playing this groove over and over and over, you want to know where you are in the measures. We want to know where the first measure is. We know where the second measure is, the third measure, because we're going to come up on the 4th measure, and it's going to be time to make a new transition into the next part of the song. So we need to know where we are, and there's things that we can do that help facilitate this. So first of all, what we want to do is make transitions in the phrasing. And so I play the first groove, and I'm going to make a little accent on the and of 4 to mark where a 2-bar phrase has gone by. And if we take two 2-bar phrases and put them together, we get a nice 4-bar phrase. Okay? So let me demonstrate what that sounds like. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. Okay? So what I'm doing is, to make a 2-bar phrase, I'm putting a little accent on the hi-hat on the and of 4. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay? Now, the transition that we need to make there is between the first 2-bar phrase and the second 2-bar phrase. And what do I mean by that? Well, we want to make this accent sound good. We don't want to play it unless we can use it to its fullest potential. So when I play this little accent, what I'm going to do is, instead of coming right back in on the hi-hat with time is I'm going to play the accent, and then I'm going to play the next note, 1, with the foot, like that. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And then come back in with the time. So let me demonstrate what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, so I wait until 1 is played with both feet. I'm stepping the hi-hats on 1, and I'm playing the bass note on 1. So I'm playing those together, and they sound like this. Okay, and then I come in on the and of 1 with time. So it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3, 2. Okay, so there's the other little transition between the 2-bar phrase. Okay, so now the next thing is to play a fill on the 4th measure. Okay, that's another setup for the next section that's coming in. And then we're going to mark 1 again with a crash. Okay, typically when you play a new section of the song, you want to let everybody know, hey, here's the new section and here's 1. That's what that crash is for. We don't just hit crashes randomly when we feel like it. If you get in a habit of doing this, you're going to really throw the band off sometimes. And someone might respond to it thinking that, oh, I'm supposed to do something here. Okay? So you want, if you're going to say something on the drums, mean it. So what I'm going to do to make things easy is I'm going to designate the entire 4th measure as a place to play a fill. Now, we don't have to play a fill for 4 beats. We can also come in on just beat 4, or you can come in on beat 3, or really anywhere you want. But for the sake of this exercise, let's just play the subdivision for the fill, and then we're going to play it for all 4 beats, and then we're gonna transition into the next part. So it's going to sound something like this, or look like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and there you have it. Now, why am I making the choices that I'm making right now? Well, the choice that I'm talking about is choosing to play this fill with 1 hand only. And the reason for that is it's an exercise. It's not because I like the way this fill sounds or that I'm orchestrating it that way. It's just simply an exercise. It's saying that I'm playing this subdivision, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 8th notes, and I'm leading with my right hand, okay? And so that frees up this hand and gives me plenty of time to do what I need to do as far as the transition goes. Now you can play 8th notes with both hands and alternate, but sometimes that can throw your timing off. And we want to work on keeping things locked in. And so another good thing is to set a metronome and play to a metronome. So if I do that, let's see if I can get that going. Speed it up a little bit. Okay, so there's with the metronome. And that's basically how you want to practice this thing. Now, the only other thing we could do next would be maybe talk about how transitions are good for getting around on the kit. It's the same idea. Maybe if we're going into like a chorus or a bridge, we want to use a different symbol, like the ride symbol over here. So I need to be able to move around here to play that, okay? And by using this leading hand technique, it kind of allows me to get over there, play in time, and then I would use the left hand to play the crash this time. And then that way I don't have to go from here to here and jump around, okay? Because I don't want to do something like this. I don't want to go. Okay, we don't want to do a lot of busy work like that. We don't want to do a lot of hopping around. Instead, we want to do something like this. We want to go. Or what I was saying first of all was something like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then come in here. All right, so let me move the microphone out of the way, and it'll make it easier for me to demonstrate this. Okay, so that's kind of the idea there. Just take these things and go back and forth between the hi-hat and the ride and make it a little loop and just practice making those transitions. So let me demonstrate that a little more. Okay, so you can see after a while I got the hang of it there, and that's the thing, you know, this is part of your practicing. It's a good idea every now and then to take some time and work on some transitions, and you'll get the hang of it in no time. It only takes a few minutes to just work on it, and you know, sometimes some people need more time to warm up than others, and this is a great little way to warm up. So anyway, that's all I have for now. I thank everybody so much for tuning in and checking out this little lesson on transitions. If anybody has any questions, definitely get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to share more. So once again, thanks, and I'll see you soon.